The moral argument. The moral argument begins with man's sense of right and wrong and the need for justice to be done, and argues that there must be God, who is the source of right and wrong, who will someday mete out justice to all people. So what is the basis for morality if it is not God? In the United States, we have the right of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Let us look at the idea of the pursuit of happiness. An example. Boy 1 wants to have a relationship with a girl in his pursuit of happiness. Girl wants to have a relationship with boy 2, not boy 1, in her pursuit of happiness. Does boy 1 get to have the girl, or does the girl get to say, no, thank you, I prefer boy 2? One is not going to get to pursue their happiness. Which one? It seems to me we need to add something such as we have the right of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness as long as it does not infringe upon the rights of others. If boy 1 insists his right to happiness is to get the girl, then an arbitrator needs to come in to be a judge. In this case, they would protect the rights of the girl. That example seems pretty easy to solve, but when we talk about large-scale issues, the decision becomes more complicated. The most difficult cases are those that reach the Supreme Court, which is the final judge. In the United States, we make our decisions by majority rule. Allow me to begin at the bottom and work up. Let's begin with 10 people. We begin with an issue, and we have 2 representatives with opposing views. Now, each voter has an opinion which results in 10 different opinions. By giving them a choice between 2 candidates, they will side with one of the candidates that best agrees with them. In this case, Representative 1 wins. 4 years later, the same issue comes up, and the representatives and the voters are the same. By giving them the choice between the 2 candidates, they will side with the candidate that best agrees with them. In this case, Representative 2 wins. The issue, the representatives and the voters were the same, but the results were different because some of the voters changed their vote. Therefore, issues in the United States are decided by majority rule, and that decision can change over time as people change their opinions. They change their opinions because they have gained more data, or perhaps one of the candidates has changed their tactics in addressing the issue. That is more appealing to certain voters. The point that I wish to make is a system of deciding issues in a republic, although the best devised by humans, majority rules, it is still relative because the voters change over time due to new data, different candidates, etc. Being that everything seems to be relative according to majority, many people, politicians, business people, focus a lot of time and money on the ability to influence. However, my focus is on the truth. What is truth? Is truth relative? Are there any moral truths, or is everything relative? It seems at times when things in life just do not seem fair or right. For example, how can morals change over time? Are there no absolutes? And if there are absolutes, who or how are they determined? In the United States, the final say is the Supreme Court. However, it appears that even this high court's decisions are determined by the biases of the judges. Judges are supposed to be impartial, but they are human and vote according to their bias. If we are a product of chance mutations, then we humans are the arbiters of truth. Therefore, truth will always be relative according to the vote of the people or the dictates of the one or the ones in power. There is no meaning to life because we live and die, and that is it. Go for the gusto, just do it, eat, drink, and be merry. It is unfortunate that many people believe that this is it. They run from one pleasure to the next, but are never satisfied. Let me suggest you read St. Augustine's Confessions. Maybe you can avoid spending your life in misery by reading what he found in living a life of the world. What was his solution? There must be more to life. The big question is there a final judge that will make all things fair and right? Many people believe that God is the final say. This looks like the only way to make sense out of life. If God has the absolute truth to assist us in living this life, then how do we get to that truth? Remember what I said in the last lesson? Rene Descartes, who believed that God created humans with innate ideas, and based on John 1, 4 through 5, John Calvin stated that this scripture shows that man's soul is so illuminated by the brightness of God's light as never to be without some slight flame, or at least a spark of it. And he also said, still, we see in this diversity some remaining traces of the image of God, which distinguishes the entire human race from the other creatures. The other creatures have brains, but humans have the ability to reason with innate understanding of morality. I agree with Descartes and Calvin, and in this last lesson I also stated that I believe that the innate ideals are encoded into our DNA, which gives us the ability to connect to our spirit and to contemplate God. With this understanding of God, the absolute arbiter of truth, we humans are without excuse. Ecclesiastes 1, 1 through 11 tells the story of the wisest man on earth who sought the pleasures of life and in the end declared vanity of vanities. In other words, that this life is meaningless because we live chasing pleasures, then we die. What's the point? There's only one thing that makes sense out of life, the understanding of God and eternal life. Reading the Confessions in Ecclesiastes 1, 1 through 11 will spare you from chasing after things that do not have lasting satisfaction. We begin with an issue and we have God that has a perfect solution to the problem. Each voter has an opinion which results in 10 different opinions. By listening to the perfect solution, all will agree with God. There will be unity. The point that I wish to make is that the best possible way for there to be unity is that there is a God that has absolute truth and provides the perfect solution. I realize that even if humans believe in the same God, we will still have differences in opinion due to the corruption of sin. However, focusing on God, the perfect judge, is a starting place for unity. So God, the perfect judge with perfect knowledge, gave us innate ideas so that we can contemplate him and know the difference between right and wrong. Therefore, we are without excuse. We can look to him for the solutions to our questions and be assured that he will be the arbiter of truth when life ends. We need to live this life with this understanding. By doing so, we will find unity in this life and comfort knowing that all will be made right in the life to come. So, in summary, the moral argument morality without God results in relative human determined morals. Morality with God results in absolute morals. The only way to make sense of this life is to have a perfect arbitrator during life and the perfect judge to met out justice in the end. Humans were created with innate ideas to know the difference between right and wrong. We are without excuse. And now you know more of the story. Stay tuned. This is John McCamick with Truth University. Good day.